Let's hope they can hear you, Mr. Jesse. And if they cannot, I might go to an early break because I forgot to test you. I'm pretty sure it can hear you, though. I just don't know for sure. Is there any fun happening this weekend, Jesse?
Not that I know of.
Because everything's on super lockdown. I can't even eat outside.
Exactly. I don't know. I have no idea.
All right.
10 seconds.
Drive through at McDonald's. What?
Holla. 2 seconds. Gotta get that Happy Meal.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience there, Facebook, YouTube, of course, our good friends at Alexa, Periscope TV, and much, much more. We appreciate each and every one of you for joining us on this episode of the morning show. We are going to hopefully make some sense of what's happening in reality. A lot of sad things, some things that just you say, what is going on in life? I know Jesse and I are kind of sick and tired of it. We try to just make light of the things that are happening in our life. And maybe you agree to disagree on some of the subjects that we're about to handle right now. But first of all, we got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning.
And lots of stuff going on, right? It's kind of the same old, same old. No good news as of yet. Some good news looking like it's going to be good news, but it's kind of hard to say just around the corner. For example, this is a top headline. So we were talking about this the last couple of days about a relief proposal, right? What was Congress going to do? And not sure if you saw this, but the latest headline, Pelosi, Schumer back bipartisan $908 billion pandemic relief proposal as basis for potential deal. And some are saying it's obviously not enough. I'll tell you right now, it's not enough. They need at least, after my calculation, 2.8 trillion, because 908 billion doesn't scratch the surface. It really doesn't. You need to go back into the trillion number in order to help everybody out. There's so much that isn't in this particular, which he even said, those that are kind of pushing this forward. Well, let me read the article and then let people decide for themselves. Pelosi and Schumer said in a joint statement referring to their counterpart, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, while we made a new offer to Leader McConnell and Leader McCarthy on Monday in the spirit of compromise, we believe the bipartisan framework introduced by senators yesterday should be used as the basis for immediate bipartisan bicameral negotiations. Of course, they're endorsing the new compromise $908 billion pandemic relief bill as a framework for negotiations and a sign of movement in a stalemate that has, well, kept Congress kind of at a standstill, which you got to wonder why for this long. They added, of course, we and others will offer improvements, but the need to act is immediate, and we believe that with good faith negotiations, we could come to an agreement. In light of the urgency of meeting the needs of the American people and the hope that the vaccine presents, it's time for Leader McConnell to sit down with Democrats to finally begin a true bipartisan effort to meet the needs of the country. Now, this framework has some numbers in here, and I know it sounds like a lot, which it is a lot. $908 billion, almost $1 trillion, right? Just shy of. Seems like a lot, Jesse. However, it doesn't cover for a lot of things that have gone even worse than before. Now, do you remember back in, I want to say, June, we had a relief and a lot of people partook of it. Do you remember how much that was back then for coronavirus?
I think you got $1,200 or $1,500. I can't remember.
Well, you're right. As far as like each person got at least that for, and then a little bit. Remember, it got cut down significantly. The CARES Act, right? So there were a couple, but the first one was actually, I want to say, and don't quote me, but I remember, I think it was 1.8 trillion. And at that time, I said, oh, this isn't going to be enough. We're going to have to go back to it. They're going to have to do it sometime soon. which I kind of wish they had done it earlier than later than pushing it at the very end. But I guess they were hopeful, right? Hoping that maybe it wouldn't be as bad as it was. But here we are, where everything's starting to basically be at the very ending stage. People are wondering if they've lost their job, how are they going to pay for their bills? I know relief efforts in regards to mortgages. There's a lot of mortgages not being paid. It hasn't been covered a lot lately, but if you do the math and the research, banks can't foreclose on anybody right now for a reason, because it's just that bad. Of course, real estate's still kind of staying right where it's at because it hasn't gone by the wayside. But when you have people paying into the economy in order to keep the economy going, it's not real estate that keeps the economy going. That's a whole different sector of its own. When you have people not paying into economy, meaning spending money, buying things, manufacturers, things don't get moving as readily as they used to, you have a huge slump. And that huge slump is happening right now. But according to this framework of this bill, it includes $288 billion in small business aid. I can already tell you that's not enough, Jesse. Like, is that the first amount wasn't enough? A lot of those businesses have gone by the wayside. How many restaurants do you know are no longer around?
I only know of one, which is the local mom and pop burger place that I used to go to. They're done.
And that's sad. Last month. That's sad to see, right? Because I mean, they probably had a lot of employees with health benefits, most likely. And even if they didn't, if they just like paid, regular, you've got families that were depending on that money. Where did they go now? There's only so many jobs available in the shopping sector, right? Of whether it be a supermarket, Walmart, Target, and the like. And it's sad but true. Remember back in the day when Walmart was taking a bunch of businesses kind of out of commission way back when. But now, if you don't have a job at any one of these places, the question is, where are you going to work that's going to stay open?
Right.
So I hate to be that bearer of bad news, but the reason I want to be the bearer of bad news for right now is to offer some sort of like idea that should be put out there for Congress to say, hey. And for those watching, there was a very interesting conversation with ABC and about this particular deal. Senator Joe Manchin, who discussed this bill, who's the one trying to meet with both Republicans and Democrats, saying, yeah, they all agree something needs to be done. I'm like, we've been saying that on the morning show for several months. I don't like, that's stupidity to even have to say that. But he was trying to push at least a third of something before nothing at all, which I feel is the stupidest thing to do. Because if you push a third of something and hope that the whole amount will come in at some point, how long did it take for them to even figure it out up till now? And who put it by the wayside to begin with when they should have been focusing on this along with the numbers of who's going to be the president? Well, now that we have all the numbers, you get where I'm going with this? I feel this is not a proper negotiation. These people don't know how to negotiate. Here's how you negotiate. If I were President Trump, you flex your muscle going out, and people will respect you 100%. Even those like me that don't respect you often, we will respect you if you go into Congress. You say, okay, people, I've got limited time here. Let's make this work for everybody. I'm the biggest negotiator ever. Tell you what, what's your number that you think you need? What's your number that you think you need? Let's meet together. Let's do this for a 5-day summit. Let's publicize this because I love to publicize my numbers and show that I know how to negotiate. And you both come out with the lowest numbers that you think you could do this for, and let's see if we can make this happen. I believe 4.3 trillion should be needed. Everybody's going to go, what? No way, that's way too much. But then you work them down slowly. That's how you negotiate, Jesse. You don't start off at the very bottom and say, can we barely get this passed in? Because guess what? Everybody's going to be like, yeah, but we don't want to give any more money. You never negotiate bottom. You negotiate high, and then you bring it down. You don't start from the third. Let's get a third done, and then hopefully we'll meet again. How long did it take you to meet for just to get this done? It's not going to work. $2.8 trillion. You set it up for that. I know you guys are doing the right thing because I did the math. And that's trimming the fat. That's making sure the Congress members don't get paid a dime. There you go. I'm saying that's look, It doesn't take a rocket scientist to take the numbers, extrapolate them over the time period that you're going to need them for. Now, according to this one statement of the senator, Joe Manchin, Joe basically said, in essence, we need it to at least April. We need to get by to at least April. Well, what's happening around the corner? They know the numbers, and the numbers are significantly on the rise. If you don't believe me, here's another top headline right here. Let's see. U.S. reports worst COVID daily death toll. Okay, well, all right. We kind of like keep hearing that. It is what it is, right? But it says this here, live updates. LA is on track. This is LA, which Jesse, you're in Riverside right now, right?
Yeah, Riverside County.
So you're east of LA, and I'm hoping Riverside is lower than LA.
I hope so.
But LA County, which is the one that I'm currently living in and my mom is in, I tell her, Mom, don't get sick with nothing. Okay. Don't go out. Don't get hurt. Don't, God forbid there be a fire. Right. LA will run out of hospital beds by Christmas if the coronavirus continues to spread at its current unprecedented rate. Calling on residents to hunker down and cancel everything to help stop the spread of the virus. The number of daily coronavirus infections have tripled since early November. Hospitalizations have more than tripled as well and are at a new peak, according to the mayor. On Tuesday, the county reported its highest number of new coronavirus cases and hospitalizations since the start of the pandemic. The average daily cases have increased by 225% since early November. So the mayor urged residents to stay home as much as possible, as the choices between us are stark between health and sickness, care and apathy, life and death. If you think this is like too extreme, I'm sorry, but it needs to be said this way. Gone are the kid gloves that everybody thought they needed to have, including President Trump. I didn't want people to panic. Look, don't look at the fire in the building. That's stupidity at its highest rate. You say, look, we have to bunker down. We have to do this. We need our hospital beds taken care of. We need our staff taken care of. We need the doctors. We need the nurses to be able to have enough time with each patient. God forbid you have a real accident, okay? Let's say you go driving, it's New Year's Eve. You go driving, and all of a sudden there's a car accident. Everybody gets shuttled over to the latest hospital. How many beds are available and or staff available to treat that nearly infected and or wounded person? Life-death dealing situations. Do you know that most hospitals, Jesse, have on average at the most 43% occupancy? Did you know that?
I was not aware of that.
43% occupancy prior to 2020 was considered really high. Okay. Doctors and staff are used to keeping it at a low of 28%, by the way. Which is why when they hit a certain number, they say, we got to move you out to another hospital which can take care of you, because they don't have the staff necessary to take care of it. You understand? But people take off time. But my point is, nurses, doctors are working they have no time to rest. Now you're probably thinking, well, that's their job. Well, hold up. Their job is to take care of each person. They have a shift. They take care of the shift. Many doctors work 12-hour, 24-hour shifts, and then they go home, they rest, and then they need to recuperate their brain. You want their brain working like full speed ahead. You don't want it hampered by anything, bringing it down. But now all of a sudden that particular doctor gets coronavirus. Now what are you going to do? Your leg is about to be amputated. Do you want a specialist there or not? I say this to the people in the room that constantly say, it's not that big of a deal. I don't need to stay home. I don't need to be careful. I don't need that. I, versus saying to all and everybody around the world, hey, you know what? We're all in this together. Let's do the right thing. And, I don't care about my poll numbers. Yeah, I'm talking about President Trump because he's at the top down. It started with him with so much rhetoric. Do you remember, Jesse, back in the day, people were willing to stay home for the first 3 weeks until he came out with his big loud mouth saying, don't worry about it. We're going to be fine by Easter. Do you remember that? All of a sudden, the shift happened significantly.
No, I don't remember any of that, but I'm pretty sure it happened.
It's probably a blur for you, but I remember it vividly. Everybody was fine with being home for the first 2 to 3 weeks. Granted, it wasn't like summer just yet, but all of a sudden, the moment Trump opened his mouth against it, everybody was like, all of a sudden you had protesters, you had other things, and you had the cops do their stupid stuff, and everybody was doing stupid things left and right and center to basically throw caution in the wind, make coronavirus worse as it already has been. And now we have a third surge. We thought this was going to be the second surge. This is the third surge. You know what the second surge was? July 4th weekend. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Everybody meeting together, throwing caution to the wind, got through that. Oh, guess what? This is a worse surge. Flu virus, cold virus, and coronavirus all put together. That's a bad cocktail. And yet we talk about it here on the morning show quite often in order to throw people in the right direction of let's stay safe, people. Let's be cautious. Let's not just go around going, it's not a thing. I'm not going to worry about it. Blah, 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 blah. I think each and every one of our morning show Breakfast Club members all can say, without a doubt, they're trying to be safe than sorry. Right, Jesse? Even you.
Oh, yeah. I'm always, I'd rather be safe than sorry because you know what? I want to live.
Yeah, and you have family members to live, right? Statistically, you'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
Right? You're a pretty healthy young adult. But do you really want to take that chance at the end of the day? I've got something on here which I thought was interesting. People getting onto an airplane got arrested for getting COVID. We'll have that story up here next here on the morning show. Stay tuned. All right, for those of you tuning in, we appreciate you. Let me bring up Jesse as well in the chat room. Let's see. We've got start with the top here. Maria says good morning. Good morning, Maria. Penelope says hello to all our beautiful people. Stephanie says hello. Happy editing and onset of commercials for clients this glorious day for today's awesome busy day ahead. Just be safe over there. Maria says, my cousin's family restaurant has closed down after years of service to the people in Flint, Michigan. And you know what? That's something I'd like to see in the next, well, when we're through this. I would like to see some type of initiative that helps business owners that were so hard hit by the pandemic to be able to open their business again in some way, shape, or fashion. The Small Business Administration has got to get together with the United States of America and say, look, we're going to do this for people that want to open their business up again. Because at some point, you got to recover, right? What do you do at that point? Because there's smart people that know how to run a business and are out of a job. You know, we had somebody on my Instagram that rents out Ferris wheels. They probably made really good money renting them out, but now they don't even have that job. What are they going to do next? Vermont's in the house. Hello, Paul. Good to see you. Thank you for the sunglasses emoji. Maria says, today I started a 14-day quarantine. A doctor I worked with last night tested COVID positive. I tested negative, though, this morning. Ugh, sorry to hear that. And I understand if you there's several tests to take. One, you may be positive, and another, you may be negative. There's that. So hopefully you don't show any signs. If you do start showing signs, make sure to get another test. And I think they had something, but I don't want to confuse people, but they're trying to say if you don't show any signs and you test negative, I think 10 days is proper. But you see that right there? A doctor she worked with last night. And she's in the healthcare industry there. For those of you tuning in, that's a regular viewer here on the show, in Canada.
20 seconds.
All right, thanks. Let me bring up the, here it is. Couple arrested for boarding a flight, knowing they had COVID.
Oh, that's even worse. 5 seconds. Coming back.
Thanks. Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. joining our live stream audience there, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And don't forget KMET 1490 AM. It's an app. You can download it. It's free. You can listen to all the great programming wherever you're at on your mobile device if you don't want to be stuck in front of your computer and or your television device, which I know a lot of people are watching us on their television devices via one of these apps, so we appreciate you. Apple TV, don't forget about that. All right, for those of you tuning in, I love our social media audience. It's one of those which, people radio time, typically they ask for callers in, but I find that you get more when you let them chat it up in the chat room. You know what I mean? So some people are like, well, you don't accept callers. Well, we don't accept callers for a reason, because sometimes we're a live show. And sometimes people cuss, and if they cuss, we get fined, and it's a pain in the butt. Right, Jesse? We don't want to do that.
Yeah, let's not pay a fine, because every time they do, they end up removing a little bit of the tip of my finger. So let's not do that.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. So this came up in our social media chat room. Maria says this: today I started a 14-day quarantine. A doctor I worked with last night tested COVID positive. I tested negative, though, this morning. So, of course, she's being cautious there because that's a doctor that she worked with I can't make this stuff up. I mean, I've been talking about that. Doctors and nurses are getting sick, right, Jesse? I said that last week, I believe.
Oh, yeah, you said it last week, and then I think you said it before.
Yeah, because people don't want to think of the healthcare industry at all. And nurses and doctors are both pleading with the public, saying, can you please take this seriously? You're not here on the front line. Trust me, you don't want to be in the hospital right now. All right. My mom needed some blood work done, but I'm like, is it urgent? Is it life-dealing? She's like, no. I said, then let's put it off for now. Right? You don't need to be in a place where everybody's getting tested with coronavirus, which if you do the math, at least half of them probably have coronavirus, right?
Right.
With the latest statistics coming out. So I said, can you wait till maybe a while? She goes, yeah, okay. I said, okay. But my point in saying this is this. Okay, now I'm going to jump into a news story, which I was talking about a moment ago. This is the headline. Actually, I'm just going to read it. Wesley Morib and Courtney Peterson. Don't be Wesley and Courtney, okay, people? Just don't. We're flying home to the airport in Kauai from San Francisco when it was discovered they received a positive result in a pre-travel test for the virus. That's according to a statement from the Kauai Department of Health. They have been arrested and charged with second-degree reckless endangerment. Okay. Do I feel that went a little extreme really quick? My answer, yes. And I'll tell you why. Are you going to start locking everybody up that suddenly gets a test and tries to are you that's a unhealthy precedent by extreme cases. Do I agree these are dumb people? Yes. Do I agree that they wanted to get home and hopefully get home before anything was going to get crazy? Perhaps. Yes. But I don't know what the solution is. I don't think locking them up now they're in prison with other prisoners. And so now everybody's good. Do you understand what I'm saying? Some people don't throw their thinking caps on. I don't think you should arrest and put them in prison for this. I don't know. What do you think, Jesse?
I have no idea, but knowing me, or not me, but people that like to throw some conspiracy theories, they can be labeled as what? Bioterrorists? Because they're carrying around a virus?
That's even more extreme, but okay. Let me read the rest of the article, okay? That's your opinion. Stick to it, all right? Close contacts are being identified, directed to quarantine, and being offered testing. The couple participate in the Safe Travels program, a mandatory travel and health form in the state of Hawaii. Hawaii Governor David Ige approved a temporary moratorium of the Safe Travels program last Friday to return to a mandatory 14-day quarantine, which went into effect Wednesday and applies to all incoming travelers, including mainland, inter-island residents, and visitors. The state of Hawaii has seen several incidents since the start of the pandemic in which residents and visitors have tried to skirt local COVID laws. Kauai Mayor Derek Kawakami described a Florida man who tried to bypass the state's traveler quarantine in April as a COVIDiot. That's worse than my Trumpinite. Don't be a COVIDiot after the intoxicated man arrived on the island without having proof of accommodations. In May, a New York City man spent part of his vacation in an Oahu jail after he allegedly broke quarantine rules and traveled to several places using public transportation. A 20-year-old woman was arrested in Honolulu in July after she was discovered dancing in a store and dining out while she was supposed to be obeying the traveler quarantine. In August, a Hawaii teacher was also arrested for violating the traveler quarantine after he returned to Honolulu from Florida and was spotted by an acquaintance at a post office days later. All right, so I get it. They've dealt with a lot of stupidity, both on their but this was a Hawaiian couple that were from Hawaii traveling back to Hawaii, which this is what's happening. Now, here's my question, Jesse. Do you think this is an isolated event?
No, I'm pretty sure this isn't the first time this happened. Is it?
No, it's not. It's not going to be the last either. People, look, for those wondering that traveled, and I get it, you traveled from wherever you were at, you against the orders of, a lot of warning orders, right? Nobody made it mandatory. Said, look, you wanted to go see your family, right? I get it. You don't want to be alone. You want to see, you thinking it's probably not even that real. But now somebody had it. Now you come back with it. And now do you think your own home wants you back? They don't. Don't throw caution in the wind, people. Be as cautious as possible. I just don't think they should be arrested and locked up for that. I just don't. I think they should be labeled, like put a fluorescent pen on their forehead that says dummy, and then what? And then and then
idiot.
Well, and then and they can't take it off for a good 14 days. I think that's a good stamp of approval right there, right? Nobody will want to come near them. Dummy. COVID-idiot. I'm not the one that coined it. It was the mayor of Hawaii. Okay, there you go, people. I'm going to take a quick break. Don't be a COVID-idiot. We'll be right back right after these messages. COVID-idiot. What's a COVID-idiot? I don't know. If you got coronavirus, you're an idiot. If you go around spreading it. All right, somebody call me on the bat hotline. I don't know who it is, but I've got a show to do. I don't answer calls in the middle of nowhere unless it's a guest wanting. Did any guest calling? No, huh?
No.
It's a 626 number. I don't know. All right. Leave a message. Let's see, people.
I like that better than throwing them in jail. To have some marker or some paint, or just to show how dumb people could be.
You know what? Might as well. Which would you want? The big fine, hefty fine, or do you want to? Do you have to take a picture every single day? And you have to download an app which tracks you, mandatory, or put an ankle bracelet on them. I don't know, but don't lock them up. That's going to make matters even. I get you want to make an example of others, punishable by. It's bad enough they might die, right? Now they need the healthcare system.
Yeah, prison or jail. That's a bit extreme.
Yeah, don't lock them up. Now you got. Yeah, it's just, and there's more people like that every day. And I say, don't be those people. I feel bad. Their pictures are up for everybody to see. Oh man, I know them. Their friends probably dumbass. All right. Let's go into another news article. Let's see.
1 minute.
Well, this is sad but good news. Plane carrying Texas lawmaker skids off runway. No one hurt.
Oh, wait. You said Texas? I thought it said California.
No, Texas. Yeah.
Okay.
That's one of those moments where you're like, thank God I'm alive. Are you going to change what you did bad? I'm not saying the lawmaker did anything bad, but it's
30 seconds.
Because everybody has that moment, right? Have you ever had that moment where you thought you were going to die? I had that several times.
I have that moment every day I drive on the freeway. Every day. There's too many stupid people driving on the road.
Yeah, there are. What about this? NASA. Let's talk about NASA.
Ooh. All right, we got 5 seconds. Coming back.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Yes,
back.
it is
Yes,
the
it
morning
is the
show
morning
here on
show
ABC News Radio KMT 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience there, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Periscope. Alexa, all you have to say is, I like to listen to KMT 1490 AM when it wants to listen to you. You ever have an Alexa and Alexa doesn't want to hear your voice? You ever get that? Like you say it 20 different times and it just says, I don't understand what you're saying. You're like, you know what, Alexa? I'm about to dump you in a landfill right now. You ever have that? I don't know if you have an Alexa, but
No, I've never had that situation. She's pretty on point.
well,
The
that's
only
probably
the only thing she won't give me information on, and I ask her for stock tips, but she says no. She says do your own work.
that's very, very bitter Alexa. Alexa should be like super smart by now, right? Let the work go into it. Okay, speaking of smart, the people at NASA are pretty smart, right? This is the latest. Observations by a telescope in Hawaii have determined a mysterious object temporarily orbiting Earth. And they thought, well, is it an asteroid? What is this object? Just floating there. Well, they discovered it's a 54-year-old rocket. This is according to NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. The object was classified as an asteroid after its discovery in September. But NASA's top asteroid expert, Paul Chodas, poor Paul, he's like, I got brought in for an asteroid. It's not even an asteroid. Quickly suspected it was the Centaur upper rocket stage from Surveyor 2, a failed 1966 moon landing mission. Size estimates had put it in the range of the old Centaur, which was about 32 feet long and 10 feet in diameter. Chodas was proven right after a team led by the University of Arizona's Vishnu Reddy used an infrared telescope in Hawaii to observe not only the mystery object, but this just happened on Tuesday, by the way. This is breaking news. A Centaur from 1971 still orbiting Earth. The data from the images matched. Chodas said, today's news was super gratifying. It was teamwork that wrapped up this puzzle. They're like, what is that asteroid just dangling there in the middle of everywhere? The object, formerly known as 2020 SO, entered a wide, lopsided orbit around Earth last month, made its closest approach at just over 31,000 miles. It'll depart the neighborhood in March, shooting back into its own orbit around the sun. Its next return, 2036. This is a rocket just going, whoa, I don't know where I'm going. Ah, space junk, right? It's a thing. Oh man. But you gotta be elated when you're like, oh, thank God. Wait, it's a rocket though, people. Is that a good thing or a bad thing if it enters our orbit? I don't know. It's space junk. Oh man,
it's a good thing. It's better than it being some UFO or something. This is 2020. Let's not take that chance.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know this. Our social media audience is lighting up as we speak. So we're going to take a quick break here on the morning show. We'll be back with more interesting news. I don't know if that's news or non-news, but I think people at NASA were like, thank God it wasn't an asteroid, right? How close did that come? We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right, Jesse, let's see what's going on in social media land. All right. Here are some top headlines. Well, there was a meteor that triggered a sonic boom over Lake Ontario.
I heard about that last night.
Did you? Let's bring that one up. These are the things we should be concerned about rather than wondering about, do we have the right to wear a face mask or not? Thank God we're still here. Thank God we have a planet to come back to.
Right? We're lucky there's not a virus that starts to melt away our skin or something.
Exactly. Thank you. That'd be terrible. What's that virus? That's the second time you brought up that virus, by the way. Is that coming up? What is it called, Jesse?
I don't know. I was watching Cabin Fever. It's still in my head.
Oh, no.
Don't watch that movie.
I'll try not to.
Don't what unless you like seeing people's skin fall off. It's gross.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's leprosy, by the way.
10 seconds.
Which actually has been determined to be alive and well in certain parts of the world. So that's why I'm wondering what's going on there.
2 seconds.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMT 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience there. If you haven't had a chance, go check out Mars. Okay, it's on Netflix right now. And a lot of people, of course, are wondering, what's up with Mars, right? Why are we going to Mars? Why are we not dealing with things here on the home front? Which I say you got to balance it out a little. I think space exploration is a great feat to have when you get to have it. I don't understand why, though, China feels the need to go to the moon and collect some rocks of their own. Jesse, do you have any ideas on that?
China's going to the moon?
No, they already went to the moon.
Did they?
Yeah, they got some rocks already, space rocks.
Okay. I don't know what the purpose of that is. I'm surprised they haven't set up some type of like station underground in the moon.
Yeah, I don't know. Conspiracy theorists alike are probably wondering, why would they feel the need to go back to the moon to get some space rocks? A Long March 5th rocket carrying the probe launched last Tuesday from a site on China's southern island. In an unusual move for China's typically secretive space program, the liftoff and journey to orbit was covered live by state broadcasters, complete with footage made by cameras mounted on the rocket. The live program suggests the Communist Party has growing confidence in their country's space program. The spacecraft Chang'e 5 was the third successful uncrewed moon landing by China since 2013, when Chang'e 3 and its U-2 rover became China's first visitor to make a lunar soft landing. In 2019, Chang'e 4 landed on the moon's far side, the first spacecraft from Earth to ever do that. At least 3 more Chang'e moon landers are planned for the coming decade, ahead of China's aspiration of building a moon base for astronauts in the 2030s. Did you know this is a thing? This is the New York Times, by the way, Jesse.
I was not aware of any of this.
Yeah, funny, right? It's funny what you get when you search the news. If the operations on the moon and the return to your Earth are successful, China will be only the third nation to bring lunar samples here. NASA astronauts accomplished that feat during the Apollo moon landings, as did the Soviet Union's Luna robotic landers, ending with Luna 24 in 1976. Those samples made major contributions to the understanding of the solar system's evolution, and planetary scientists have eagerly waited for additional samples. After the spacecraft entered orbit around the moon, Chang'e 5 was split into 2, the lander now on the surface and an orbiter that await its return. The spacecraft braked and successfully entered an elliptical orbit on Saturday, braked again on Sunday to enter a nearly circular orbit, according to CCTV, the state television network. Additional maneuvers Monday and Tuesday prepared the landing spacecraft for its descent on the surface. The lander touched down on a volcanic plain on the moon's near side that is estimated to be around 1.2 billion years old. It's considerably younger than the places explored by Apollo and Luna, which were all more than 3 billion years old. The lander will need to accomplish its drilling and scooping tasks within a single lunar day, which lasts 14 Earth days. It's not designed to survive the frigid and dark lunar night. And I got questions when you start drilling in the moon. Do we really want that to happen right now? I don't know about you, but I got theories on that.
Why? What do you think will happen?
Actually, it's not what I think will happen. It's what I saw would happen. Did you ever watch the movie? And it's I want to say it came out in the 1950s, but it was colored. Um, it was on The Time Machine. Did you ever watch that?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
And there's
The new,
this,
and the new one, the older one and the new one.
but the original one, I don't remember the newer one, but I remember the original one had a moment where they went up to the moon. And remember, this book was written well before we explored space, right?
Mhm.
And in the movie, do you remember looking up to the moon and the moon had been like shattered?
Yeah, it was fractured because they were digging on the. I see what you're going with this.
You see where I'm going with this?
See what you're going with this.
Because a lot of the stuff that was in the book and made into the movie, book by H.G. Wells, have actually more often than not come true. So kind of like, can we not learn from that? Like, what if you fracture? Like, I don't know if that happens from a space exploration, but I think in the movie, if you go look at it, it's not a conspiracy theory of my own. I just remember watching that as a young kid, and I said, I wonder if that could ever happen. The publication of H.G. Wells was published in 1895, but the movie that I'm talking about, where you'll see it, which he also, did some other interesting books as well, came out in what time, Jesse? What year do you think it came out in?
You talk about the original movie?
Yeah, not the one with Guy Pearce, the original.
I want to say 1963.
Close. The release date was August 17th, 1960.
Okay.
And somehow I remember that shifted the Earth's like planetation. There was something that it because the Earth's tide waves are relegated by the moon as well. So when you do so much with the moon, I kind of wonder, do we need to show this to the people that are going to the moon to be more cautious, right? Maybe that was a warning from H.G. Wells. I don't know. Maybe he was psychic or something. I don't know. He wrote in 1895. If you look at a lot of the stuff that's in there, in 1895, he foretold a lot of things that would eventually happen. You don't believe me? Go read it and or watch the movie. It's kind of scary how close. Now, the other one, the Guy Pearce one, was a little bit more hokey pokey, which is why I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But the 1960s film, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a little bit slow. It's not. It's a typical 60s movie, right? But go watch that. And there's a part where there's missiles. There's a bunch of stuff which he goes forward in time from 18 whatever that was, the late turn of the century or before 1900s. And it makes people wonder, H.G. Wells, what did the guy know? People quote Nostradamus all the time, but H.G. Wells was kind of a forward thinker, or was he? Did he know something that might come up around the corner? So whenever I see people go to the moon, I always have that little flash image come back in my head, and I hope we learn from our mistakes on that. I don't know, though. I don't know. Am I wrong? Am I right? I think I'm right. Let's see. Here's one. Somebody says, Maria says, there were reports of a loud boom from Ontario to Virginia. I didn't hear nothing. I'm in shock. And I did bring up this article because I think it's important to get outside of our world just for a minute to understand we're on this earth together. Okay. Here it is. Rare meteor triggers sonic boom, brilliant flash over Lake Ontario. A meteor crashed through the Earth's atmosphere over New York State Wednesday, triggering a thunderous boom and a spectacular flash over Lake Ontario. Bill Cook, who leads NASA's Meteoroid Environment Office, said the meteor made its fiery entry traveling west in clocking speeds of 56,000 miles per hour. That would happen at 12:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As the meteor broke into pieces at an altitude of 22 between Rochester and Syracuse, they said it created a sonic boom reportedly heard across New York. Emergency dispatchers in Onondaga County, where Syracuse is located, reported receiving multiple 911 calls reporting the sound. NBC affiliate WTSM reported it was also heard in the nearby counties of Oswego and Madison. As it broke apart, the meteor produced a brilliant flash over Lake Ontario. There's video from Toronto's 15-foot CN Tower appeared to capture the flare over the city's skyline. Just afternoon, somebody actually tweeted this out, so you can check that out at AMS Meteors. and they have the flash there available. Cook said that so few videos of the object have emerged. He said its slow entry speed suggested it was likely from an asteroid, hopefully not a rocket, right? Robert Lunsford of the American Meteor Society said it was possible the meteor could have been seen over a broad area. Observers reported seeing it from New York to Pennsylvania and Washington, D.C. Lunsford said to have something so close to a major city, that's pretty rare, but that's just what, most meteors do. So there you go. And look, no truth to the rumor. There's planetary objects out there that still have yet to be discovered, which I think one of them is on a collision course. I think they said by 1950. I'm sorry, we're in 2054. I read that and I was like, well, at least we have enough time to figure that out, right? You don't believe me, huh, Jesse? You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. What's supposed to smash into what? Keep going.
Well, look, I'm all against spreading wrong information out there. But there's a meteor heading towards Earth, which they say, I want to say 2054. Maybe I'm wrong. And they've been tracking it for quite some time. And let's see. I think it was... I'll put 2050. Yeah, here's one. But I don't think this is... Well, there's a couple of them, actually. Asophis is one. You ever hear of ones where they say, oh, we just had one whiz by us very close, but thank God it didn't hit us?
Yeah, all the time.
So there's one that they've been tracking for quite some time, since 2005. Apophis asteroid, all right?
Mm-hmm.
But then as of recently, there was some news about another meteor. And I don't have the information to show it, but I can guarantee you right now, they're trying to figure it out. That's why NASA sent people to a meteor to land. No truth to the rumor, Armageddon and or Deep Impact is a little bit more real than we like to accept. This stuff I could make it up, but I'm not making it up. So there you go. Here's one. NASA. Asteroid could still hit Earth in 2068. That's according to a new analysis from the University of Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
This was published actually just a while ago. Yep. As astronomers keep a careful watch on the skies, hoping to spot potential impactors far enough in advance that we could do something about it. One of the most worrying objects is 99942 Apophis. The skyscraper-sized asteroid might still hit Earth in 2068. I think it's the same one that they say might hit Earth in 20. I don't know. They have different numbers there. That's according to a new analysis from the University of Hawaii and NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. They discovered it back in 2004, sounding the alarm when initial observations suggested it had a high 2.4% chance of hitting Earth in 2029. Thankfully, further study lowered that probability to 0. But astronomers have been keeping an eye on Apophis ever since. It's currently considered the third highest impact threat to Earth behind 101955 Bennu and 29075. However, the highest impact risk for those objects are centuries out. NASA's Century Risk Table shows a 1 in 150,000 chance of Apophis hitting Earth in 2068, but that doesn't take into account a phenomenon known as the Yarkovsky event. Asteroids tumble through space. They absorb energy from the sun. That energy is radiated back into space as heat, but the process is not uniform over the object's entire surface. The result is a small but measurable push that alters the object's orbit. Interesting information here. I know a lot of you are like, I don't understand a word of that. But long story short, sometimes things can go all out of orbit and suddenly kind of hit the Earth. Deep Impact. Did you watch that movie, Jesse? You know these things are based in reality, though, sometimes, right?
You talk about Deep Impact or the other one?
Both. Armageddon was one of those, like, I think it made a bigger splash, literally, with Bruce Willis, right? It was very like, oh.
It was more action orientated.
Yeah, it was actually, to me, the better movie of the two. Deep Impact was basically, there was no hope for anybody. They all died at the end, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Spoiler alert, don't watch that one. Watch Armageddon. At least Armageddon, which was the asteroid, coming down to hurt everybody. And that one was a better flick than the other one. If you want to at least have some hope at the end of the day. I felt Deep Impact was like, remember the huge tsunami came over the New York and
True,
obliterated it.
but they saved the world.
Did they? I don't remember that part. All I remembered was people like, I love you, Dad. Everybody was dead. I don't know. That's what I remember of it. Okay, maybe Deep Impact had some good news on it. They saved half of the world. I don't know. But there you go. Don't look. My point is this, people. When you are arguing about people and arguing about like, I have the better skin color than you. If you're that stupid, forget that you live on a planet that is circling an orbit of around the sun, that there's other planets that we're hoping to go to, like Mars, in the event of an asteroid hitting this Earth. If you're not thinking about that, you got problems up the wazoo. Because if you're thinking about your little situation of I'm better than that person, think again. All right. You're nothing at the end of the day if we get impacted by a huge asteroid or meteor or whatever you want to call it. Right? I think that's the hope. We have time to get there. It's not like it's happening as of right now. Right? Or a week. You got a week left. What are you going to do with that? Anyway, which I think is what Deep Impact kind of did, right? They kind of discovered it late in the game.
Yeah, no, they discovered it early, but they were trying to figure out a plan, and they didn't want to let the whole world know yet.
That's what it was. They didn't want to spread panic until, of course, it got out. And you're like, well, say goodbye to your loved ones because you're dead. Which you hope there's an afterlife after that, right? You're kind of like, hey, God, you got me, right? We're good. You saved a backup of me, right? Oh, man. Anyway, I theorize a lot. None of it's real, but there you go. I think if anything, it makes you a better human being, saying, you know what? We should learn to get along while we're here on this earth. And who knows, if there is an afterlife, are we put in the same room to get along? I don't know, but maybe we should be. All right, people, I love you. Make it a great day. Whatever you do, remember, life is worth living. Live it well. Bye, everyone. And for the rest of you tuning in, I appreciate you. Whatever you're doing, do it well. Let's see. People shouting out stuff. Let me pull it up on Facebook because I think the chat room is not working like I thought it should. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, it looks a little like Facebook's having issues over there, but that's okay. Normally I spend time with you guys, spending time. I'm going to show you this. Sorry, I think my internet kind of stopped there for a bit. But let me show you something that we're going to have on the show next week. Okay, virtual reality is the thing, right, that I love to talk about now because I think there's a lot of really cool stuff out there. So I'm going to show you this website, and we're going to have them on next week sometime. I'm trying to figure out when to have them on. Let me bring it up right here. Let me bring it up. I think it's this one. Here we go. All right. VR glove Enterprise. All right. Force feedback haptic gloves for the VR. Let there be touch. Introducing VR Glove Enterprise. After years in development, their first haptic gloves and SDK designed for business and industry use cases are here. All the features you need to add immersive touch and realistic interactions to your VR experience in a fully wireless pair of gloves. All right, I'm going to play this video and check out how cool this is, especially for industries that need training. I think this is great for universities abroad. All right, every university should have one of these automatically added to their class schedule. Okay, check it out and think in this case and in this way, because I know I'm going to be talking to this company and I'm going to be like, what can we do to get this into our educational school system, at least at the high school level and above, right? Because this coronavirus thing isn't going away. And even if it were to go away by March, okay, wouldn't you want to have a pretty cool setup to where you can learn training? Well, watch, check out the video. Here it is. How cool is that? Okay, and for those of you wondering, look, there are gloves out there which will sense and you can close and such, but to be able to touch something in VR and to have it kind of happen in your glove as well, to where it either tightens or loosens. I don't know exactly how it works. I haven't tried these out. I want to try these out just to see how they work, which they gave us an option to do. I think they're in San Diego or somewhere, but I don't want to travel there just yet. But I might want to just to go check them out in person. But my point is this: how cool is that for learning facilities to be able to start implementing that, and or businesses that need to train abroad, right? Imagine, like, I would love to see it one day where people, say, hey, in order to train, we're going to send you this device. We want it back safe and sound. It comes with these gloves where you're going to do this and that. Start practicing now for the next 3 weeks. And then when you get here, you'll be almost ready to go 100%. How cool would that be, right? And or a school system to be able to do, you saw him interacting with the body, being able to lift it. EMT trainers, people that do certain types of safety protocol. You don't have to have them travel to somewhere to do it. You say, hey, put on this device and here you go. It's as close as possible to the real thing, to being able to feel the other, it be a human body and or, you're squishing something, you're turning something. It's good for levels. I saw another company that does something like this, but you could train somebody how to flip a switch, and do the whole program like a flight simulator. And you can learn how to do a plane pretty quick. I mean, put like 5 weeks of training time on that and then put them behind the real thing and see if they're better than the person that's been behind the real. I don't know, but have them do it with a trainer. That's my point. So the ability to do so many cool stuff with VR is already here, and we're going to have them on the show coming next week. Super excited about that. So hopefully you'll stick with us for that next week. And if you have another cool VR trick up your sleeve and or a company that you think we should review, let us know. You can message me on Facebook and just say, hey, this is the company. And or if you have the founder or the creator or they're working on something really cool, I want to feature it here on the show, because I think VR is going to save us eventually. What I mean by that is I think it's going to save us both in the business sector and definitely in the educational school system sector. Okay. And I think this is something we need to talk about. I remember having a conversation in Big Screen VR, which is an app which you can download if you have the Oculus or you have the HTC Vive. And she says that her high school, 8th grade school, middle school, was discussing doing VR for their kids. And I'm like, they should. It would make sense. And in an interactive environment that you can participate with other kids and or teacher is very important. All right. Being behind a screen or a monitor on your laptop and or device is good, but there's certain interactive things that I think we need to start getting to and or help them create new environments in VR, because VR is not going anywhere like anytime soon. I think a lot of people thought it was mainly for gaming, and I think it's good for gaming, but I think the educational system and the business sector really need to take the lead on this, because it's the next best thing. If you're going to have to stay at home for the next 3 weeks, get a VR headset. That's what I say. And then return it at the end. Why not? Just get it for the 3 weeks and then return it. Boop, right? Go back to work. But I guarantee you at the end of that 3 weeks, you're going to be like, I see potential with this, right? All right, people, let's see. Social media, Maria says, I want VR gloves, right? I know. So do I. Really, seriously, I do. But I don't want just any glove. There are gloves that sense, your hand closing. I want a glove that gives me real world environment feel as close as possible, right? I think we're there already. I think we need to get there eventually. And I don't know what the cost is on these particular gloves. I would imagine they're not cheap, because they're more for business and industries, and I don't see the price on the website. So there you go. But if you have questions, I got answers when it comes to science and technology. In fact, I want to start including some more science and technology. There was a cool show. I'm going to look it up for you. Let's see. It was called, I think it was called Beyond Tomorrow. Was it Beyond Tomorrow or Beyond? Let's see. What was the show? Does anybody know that? Beyond Tomorrow Science TV. And by the way, for those of you wondering, I'm not on the radio anymore. This is our after show program, if you're wondering. Yeah, here it is. Beyond Tomorrow, Australian television series. I loved this show. And it made me think of things so differently. And everybody on there was so smart. I mean, they had that cool accent, which I'm like, if you have that accent, you're obviously very smart. Let me see if they're on YouTube. I'll show you. Probably get dinged for it, but whatever. On social media. But Beyond Tomorrow, let's see, to YouTube. Did anybody see that? I don't know how many years it went perfectly, but let me type it in. Beyond Tomorrow. They covered stuff that were like not here yet. They covered so much stuff that already is here. Let's see. The newest one looks like 12 years ago. Yeah. And so I can't call it Beyond Tomorrow because that would take their, but I think they need to bring that back. They really do. Here's one that happened 12 years ago, and they were talking about mobile phones. Let's see, hacking into your mobile phone. Let's see, is this, I don't know, Beyond Tomorrow. Here's another one. Beyond Tomorrow designer knockoffs. This isn't really. Let's see. Let me put in Beyond Tomorrow TV show. And I want to show you something, but a lot of these are like meh. Maybe there's a website. Beyond Tomorrow TV show official. Yeah, nothing's coming up that I want to see here. But here was the TV series. I guess it only went 1 year. It was really good. They only had 30 episodes. That's it. Well, no wonder I can't find anything. Yeah, it was only 30 episodes, but it was a great show. And I was like, I was, oh, did you find it? Okay, I don't know how to click on that just yet. Playlist. Okay, well, you guys see it though, right? Just tuning in lunch. VR's educational winner, the Algenia. True that. So I can't bring it up because they're just not. I could try on something. Let me see here. You guys can check it out on your own. But Beyond Tomorrow was a great Australian show, and I remember watching it. I forgot what channel. I think it was Science or Discovery, and I want to bring a little bit of that back. You know what I mean? Like if we could talk about certain cool stuff that are out there. So I'll look for some stuff because I think if people are interested to see where we're going, and to see where we're going is really good. I remember when they were talking about nanotech technology, right? Nobody talks about it now, but it's revolutionized the way we manufacture certain fabric and or things. And now it's kind of like, okay, it's nanotech no longer is the cool thing. What's the next cool thing around the corner, right? We have to focus on things ahead of time and or things that are current right now and say, hey, we're not so back in the dark ages. Don't push us back to the dark ages. You know, I think some people want us to go back to the dark ages, but we can move forward in life with cool science and technology. So much so, I think we can even heal the planet with it. But the right people need to start talking to each other, right? The science, the biologists, the oceanographers, everybody needs to start talking to one another. And they need to talk to the administration here on the home front. Because I think we've kind of dumbed ourselves way too much to hear rhetoric of stupidity instead of saying, look, we've got smart people on the forefront of technology. Let's bring these people in and see what we can do and what we can start implementing for our educational school system. What can we do for our business administration? What can we do for people that have to stay home? What can we do? Okay. I get it. There's certain science and technology that can destroy us like that. Well, let's not do that. Let's do the kind of science and technology that helps us move forward. Okay. So there you go. All right, people, I've run out of time. Make it a great day. Whatever you do, remember, life is worth living. Live it well. And remember, we all live on this planet. Let's hope a meteorite and or asteroid or a roving rocket that they thought was a meteor, thank God it was being propelled back into the solar system. Not I can't believe they like are okay with that. It must not be an explosive rocket, right? Just a regular rocket, maybe a rocket that was just like it fueled up its fuel. I don't know. All right, people, make it a great day. Bye, everyone.